In the NBA, the spotlight shines on superstars like Luka Doncic and Kyrie Irving. But championship teams are built on more than just star power. The Dallas Mavericks are facing a painful reminder of this with the departure of their defensive coordinator Sweeney to the San Antonio Spurs. This isn't just losing an assistant, it's the loss of the architect of their defensive identity. Sweeney was the mastermind behind the Mavericks' defensive schemes. After a deep playoff run, this news is a reality check. It highlights that success is fragile, and a team's infrastructure is as crucial as its stars. The Mavericks now face the task of replacing a key piece of their success. Losing Sweeney to a division rival like the San Antonio Spurs adds complexity. The Spurs are a rising team with a generational talent in Victor Wembanyama. By acquiring Sweeney, the Spurs gain invaluable knowledge of the Mavericks' strategies. This move weakens a rival while strengthening their own long-term project. This is a critical turning point for the Mavericks under coach Jason Kidd. Their success was built on balanced offense and a tough Sweeney-led defense. The challenge is to find a leader who can instill the same defensive mindset that Sweeney cultivated. How Dallas navigates this will show their resilience as a championship contender. To truly understand the magnitude of this loss for Dallas, one must first appreciate who Sweeney is and the path he took to become one of the most respected assistant coaches in the National Basketball Association. His journey is a testament to hard work, a deep passion for the game, and a relentless dedication to the craft of coaching. Sweeney didn't parachute into the league. He earned his stripes through years of diligent work, starting from the ground up. His coaching career began with a focus on player development, working with future NBA stars like Kevin Durant and Michael Beasley long before they became household names. This early experience honed his ability to connect with players on an individual level, a skill that would become a hallmark of his coaching style. Before joining the Mavericks, Sweeney built a formidable reputation across the league. He served as an assistant coach under Jason Kidd with the Milwaukee Bucks, where he was instrumental in developing the defensive schemes that would eventually help that franchise win an NBA championship. It was in Milwaukee that he truly solidified his status as a defensive guru, working closely with Giannis Antetokounmpo and helping to shape one of the league's most formidable defensive units. His subsequent move to the Detroit Pistons further showcased his versatility as he adapted his principles to a young, rebuilding roster. By the time he reunited with Jason Kidd in Dallas in 2021, he was widely regarded as one of the top assistants in the game. His arrival in Dallas coincided with a clear organizational mandate. The Mavericks needed to get tougher and more committed on the defensive end. For years, the team had been known for its offensive firepower, led by the prodigious talents of Luka Doncic, but their defensive shortcomings consistently held them back from reaching their full potential. Sweeney was brought in specifically to be the agent of change, the man tasked with forging a new identity for the team. He was not just another assistant. He was designated as the defensive coordinator, a title that underscored the immense responsibility placed upon his shoulders from day one. He was, in essence, the co-head coach for half the game. From the very beginning, Sweeney embraced the challenge with an intensity that quickly permeated the entire organization. He was known for his demanding, no-nonsense approach, but it was always balanced with a genuine commitment to teaching and empowering his players. He didn't just tell them where to be, he explained the why behind every rotation, every switch, and every defensive coverage. This intellectual approach, combined with his passionate sideline demeanor, earned him the immediate respect of the locker room. Players understood that his high standards were aimed at a singular goal: winning. His journey to Dallas was the culmination of years of preparation, and he arrived ready to make his mark. The transformation of the Dallas Mavericks defense under Sweeney was nothing short of remarkable, and it began almost immediately upon his arrival. Before the 2021-22 season, the Mavericks were consistently ranked in the bottom third of the league in defensive efficiency. They were a team that opponents looked forward to playing, knowing they could score with relative ease. Sweeney changed that perception entirely. He introduced a new system predicated on communication, effort, and accountability. He simplified complex schemes, ensuring that every player on the floor understood their role and responsibility on every single possession. The results were both immediate and dramatic, as the team saw a meteoric rise in the league's defensive rankings. One of Sweeney's key philosophical shifts was to instill a sense of collective responsibility. He moved the team away from a system that relied on one or two players to be defensive stoppers, and instead implemented a defense-by-committee approach. He emphasized the importance of pre-rotation, of being in the right spot before the ball even moved, and of trusting the teammate behind you to provide help. This created a connected, five-man unit that was far more difficult to break down than the individualistic defense of years past. Players like Dorian Finney-Smith and Reggie Bullock thrived under his tutelage, becoming elite perimeter defenders, while the entire team bought into the concept of swarming to the ball and making opponents uncomfortable. Sweeney's impact was also felt in the team's adaptability. He was not dogmatically attached to a single defensive scheme. Instead, he tailored the game plan based on the opponent, demonstrating a brilliant strategic mind. Against teams with dominant big men, the Mavericks would pack the paint and force mid-range jumpers. Against guard-heavy three-point shooting teams, they would switch aggressively on the perimeter and run shooters off the line. This tactical flexibility was a hallmark of Sweeney's coaching and a primary reason for the team's sustained success. He was a master at identifying an opponent's weakness and designing a defensive strategy to exploit it, giving the Mavericks a significant competitive advantage night in and night out. Perhaps his greatest achievement was changing the very culture of the team. He made defense a source of pride for the Mavericks. His passionate and vocal presence on the sidelines was infectious, and players mirrored his energy on the court. He held everyone, from the last man on the bench to the team's superstars, to the same high standard. This unwavering demand for excellence fostered a new level of toughness and resilience that had been missing in previous seasons. The Mavericks were no longer just a flashy offensive team. They were a gritty, hard-nosed group that relished the challenge of getting a stop. SeanSweeney didn't just install a new defense, he forged a new identity. The tangible results of SeanSweeney's defensive system were most evident in the Mavericks' playoff performances. In the high-stakes environment of the postseason, where every possession is magnified, a reliable defense is often the great equalizer. During the team's run to the Western Conference Finals in 2022, it was their Sweeney-led defense that carried them through tough series against the Utah Jazz and the top-seeded Phoenix Suns. They were able to disrupt and frustrate two of the league's most potent offenses, proving that their regular season defensive improvements were not a fluke. This success was a direct reflection of the principles of discipline and execution that Sweeney had drilled into them all year long. Beyond the team's collective success, Sweeney's influence was profound on an individual level. He had a unique talent for unlocking the defensive potential in players who were not previously known for their prowess on that end of the floor. He worked tirelessly with Luka Doncic, helping him to better understand defensive positioning and to exert more consistent effort, transforming him from a defensive liability into a more than capable team defender. Similarly, he helped young players like Josh Green and Jaden Hardy grasp complex NBA defensive concepts, accelerating their development and making them valuable contributors far sooner than expected. His ability to teach and connect with players was a massive asset. His work with the team's big men was particularly noteworthy. He developed schemes that maximized the strengths of centers like Dwight Powell, Maxi Kleber, and later, Derek Lively II and Daniel Gafford. He understood how to use their length and athleticism to protect the rim and control the paint, creating a formidable interior presence. For a rookie like Lively, Sweeney's guidance was invaluable. He served as a mentor, teaching him the nuances of pick-and-roll coverage, weak side rotations, and verticality at the rim. This hands-on coaching was instrumental in Lively's rapid development into one of the league's most promising young defensive centers, a key factor in the Mavericks' most recent successes. The confidence that the team gained from their defensive identity cannot be overstated. Knowing they could rely on their defense to get stops in critical moments allowed the offense to play with more freedom and less pressure. This symbiotic relationship between offense and defense was the engine of the Mavericks' success. When shots weren't falling, they didn't panic, because they believed in their ability to grind out a win on the other end of the court. This belief, this defensive swagger, was a direct gift from SeanSweeney. His impact was not just in the X's and O's, but in the heart and mind of every player who wore a Mavericks jersey.